All right, good morning, everybody. Exciting day, exciting Friday. Okay, this is a deck. I can't even tell you how many like different iterations we've gone through over the years. Where I am just like a madman in a laboratory, and I'm like, chat, you gotta think about it. If you've got Urza Saga in your deck, you can get your Zuran Orb. If you've got a Traverse the Ulvenwald, you can get your Urza Saga. You can also get Titania. You can make a lot of 5/3s. And then like and then there's this like RedGreen Delerium shell that's just like so sick, where you get to be really low to the ground. You get to play a lot of good removal. You get to play Run and Six. You get to play Saga, and then like now that you have access to Boseiju specifically, like the biggest problem with these red-green decks is that their matchups against like the linear combo decks and their matchups against big mana is kind of tough, but like the ability to traverse for Boseiju game one, and then like Wrenn and Six Boseiju a bunch, and then side in even up to the full 4 Boseiju post board, I think gives you like a good enough time against Titan and Tron, hopefully, and Belcher in theory. You have a lot of graveyard hate for living in. That's going to be okay. Beast, thank you for the 2 months. Appreciate you. That being said, one trap I think I fell into for a long time was I was trying to play Elvish Reclaimer as a 1-drop here, where I was thinking that like the Elvish Reclaimer being another 1-mana threat makes you more aggressive. I think it's also like in theory good with Sagas, but after like taking kind of an extended step back from the deck, the more I just kind of think Elvish Reclaimer sucks and you shouldn't play it. I don't know. That card's like very slow, very easy to play around. I think the deck's better without it. Without it, you get to play more 1-mana removal spells, which I think are pretty good at the moment. You also get to play Unlicensed Hearse. Hearse was really, really good for me yesterday, and I think it's a really good fit in this shell in general. Good morning, Archmage. How you doing? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Hitachi. Happy Guilty Gear update day, by the way. This deck screams Tarmogoyf at me, not making the cut. Tarmogoyf would be fine in the deck. You can play one as a traverse target, but I have played it in the past, but I do think it's also cuttable. Any advice for Jeskai Phoenix with the large amount of graveyard hate floating around? Well, knowing how to play around each type of graveyard hate is really important, right? So Prismatic Ending is going to answer a lot of it. Against Endurance, you want to try to cast Demolitch from your yard as soon as you have priority. But there's also like just tons and tons of graveyard hate. It's probably not a good time to be playing the Phoenix list. Okay, well, 2 awkward hands in a row. I think on the draw I have to keep this. I'll put back the Lantern. White down, think with 19 months. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Bailed out. I'm trying to remember what exactly my matches were last night. I remember I played against Murktide, Hammer Time, Tron for 3 of my matches. And I'm not sure if I can remember the other 2. No, you stupid Spell Pierce Haver. No. Dang it. Brutal. White down leave the 19 months. Appreciate ya. So I guess we're hoping to draw untapped red or green and be able to ping this. Failed. I guess we just play the Hearse. Take another hit from the Ragavan. Brutal. Why is Hearse a good card? Can anyone explain? This card becomes giant really quickly. There's a lot of graveyard decks in the format. It is an artifact for your Urza Saga, artifact for Delirium. Just generically good card too. Opponent not leaving up mana there is kind of sus. I mean, they just don't have a counterspell, probably. Yeah, I guess we lose. Brutal. I don't know. We do have an Endurance in our hand. Maybe we just, like, get to go land a green source off the top, Endurance, and we're actually kind of fine. If we don't find the green source for Endurance, things I agree are going to be kind of tough. Would you sideboard out Shredders as Living End versus Murktide? It's kind of that's an interesting conversation where Shredder like does like you get to connive when they cascade. Hmm. So I guess we're playing Forgotten Cave as a land. And then I think we just cast Ragavan. And then if they kill the Ragavan, we can crew the hearse and try to block with the hearse. And hope if they have 2 1-mana removal spells, we're kind of toast though. Evoke Endurance to crew the vehicle for blocks. That's a cool line. Although like it wasn't a line we had available to us last turn. Okay, so there's still 1 card away from being able to Murktide. If my opponent plays a fetch land, I probably have to hearse in response to the fetch to keep them off Murktide. We'll see what they exile. They exile Lightning Bolt, okay. When I play hearse in decks that don't play creatures but have Urza Saga. I don't know what deck doesn't play creatures but has Urza Saga. Sounds like a fantasy deck. So I can block and then activate to block the Ragavan effectively, so they shouldn't be able to attack. Oh. Okay, so let's target the... I guess we hit both 2 instants here, because I do want to make sure Murktide is worse, so then this does turn off Delirium. So that I take less from the Channeler. Maybe they have Red Source Lightning Bolt, but you feel like they might have done that first. No, opponent just messed up. Arak has no creatures in 4 Saga. Okay, I guess that's a deck, huh? Okay, so now I have Delirium to heat the Ledger Shredder. Drawing a red or green source would be so good because I could go Heat Shredder, ping... Oh, awesome! No, awesome! It's exciting. Ping this, hearse them. So I can get an I can get Expedition Map, Lantern, Bauble. Obviously just, you know, all the options. Map's kind of slow. I think I'll just get Shadowspear. Hopefully no second spell piercer. Oh no, I should have heated the Shredder first. I keep making that mistake. Okay, so now I can let them connive, or I can possibly lose to a counterspell. I think I just let them connive. Isn't the map there to grab more sagas? Yeah, but like I have Run and Six that can maybe get the sagas back. I'm at 8 life and I have a big unlicensed hearse and I have an endurance to crew it, or I can put the Shadowspear here. If they do have a Murktide this turn, then like the Shadowspear can race it. So I feel like a reasonable choice to me. I haven't put a Spirit of Hearse yet, but we made this this match. Right now it's a 6/6. Destroy target land with the 26 months. Don't you hate it when you join a stream and the commercial starts? Yeah, good thing there's a way to avoid that with Twitch Prime, huh? Okay, so I think I'm just going to main phase Hearse, then Endurance them to keep them off Murktide. And it's important here to get this Hearse up to 8/8 so that it can not die to anything. And then next turn we can crew, equip, just start the swing for 8 over the course of 2 turns. Man, this game was looking so bad. You know, in a lot of ways, this deck is like kind of like metagamed for like Murktide Living End, Hammer Time. Not sure what the 4-color matchup is. Probably, unfortunately, not amazing. Destroy target land, 26 months. Timothy with 18. Opponent, is that that's like their 3rd or 4th iteration of this game, right? I think 3rd. Source Nickable and Jund as well as Black Red. Yeah, I think so. I am kind of interested in returning to Jund Saga with her. It's just like that extra artifact for the sagas is really nice, and I do think Hearse is really good in the main deck of these like red-based mid-range decks. So if I don't block, I'm dead to 2 bolts, which is really unlikely. I think I need to keep this so I can crew the hearse. They have 2 bolts, you know. Or maybe not great against that anyways. Awesome fruit. Yeah, I like that deck a lot too. Yeah, just like, oh, okay, I can crew now with the Channeler. So let's see if the Channeler resolves. Oh, one small synergy here with hearse is like sometimes if your opponent has like a big Shredder or a Murktide, you won't want to attack with your awesome. You won't want to attack with your Channeler, but you can crew to tap it. That came up last night in my match. Okay, that game was rough. We like mulliganed. We got our heat on the Ragavan Spell Pierce. We got hit by Ragavan a couple times. Feeling good about that one. So I'm going to bring in the 3rd or 4th Endurance, the 2 copies of Run Afoul. I think this is a matchup where you want to cut out, you cut Titania Zuran Orb, since the combo is kind of like it's kind of awkward to draw the Zuran Orb and like have a draw step be not good against Murktide, and then this is pretty counterspellable. And then I usually also cut the Fury, and then you can cut the Lantern, or you can cut the probably not the Shadowspear. Like, we have a lot of other graveyard hate with Hearse and the 4 Endurance, so I feel like you rarely get the Lantern. Maybe we'll get the map. Map is kind of slow here. Big Dom's with 7 months, appreciate you. Should I play Blue-White Control and FNM tonight or Death Shadow? It's FNM, man. I basically never tell you what you should do at FNM just because it's always so, you know. Ultimately, whatever you think is going to be the funnest is the play. Not playing the 3-1 Delirium Cascade Dude. Yeah, what I really... Okay, another 2-1 Ragavan. What I really like about the 3-1 Delirium Cascade... Dislike about it, sorry. But the 3-1 Delirium Cascade Dude is that card is, like, never castable on turn 2. Or for Delirium. And, like, the Delirium cards that just don't ever have Delirium on turn 2, I think are kind of weak. Okay. Let's see if they bolt me. And then like it's a lot of work and setup to, like, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, you know, cascade into Mishra's Bauble for on turn 3 for 2 mana. Yeah, play both and play Yorion. You ever done that when you're like really bored at a tournament? And you just shuffle 2 decks together and then and then play same deck. I've done it once. It was not a very good format. I think I like double Channeler this turn. It's pretty likely we get Delirium. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna graveyard that for Delirium, but it would be a very good top deck. I'll keep this so I can cast the Endurances. Okay, they have a bolt on top, but they have to have like exactly 2 lightning bolts in hand to get through with the Ragavan. They do have 1, I guess. Iteration, using the treasure though. Iteration concede. Why was that card banned in Pioneer, by the way? Why was that card banned in Pioneer? Seems terrible. Can I point out the positives of this green-red deck instead of just some straight Jund deck? Yes, I can. Better mana, lower curve, access to the Titania combo, better top decks, better against Murktide. We'll look at this hand though. More consistent in general, I think, with the better mana. Okay, kind of a weird hand, but I actually think we're going to keep and be in on the Titania combo. I will just go ahead and grab a second basic forest here. And then in order to, on turn 5, Saga gets Zuran Orb, cast Titania, you have to play the Urza Saga on turn 3, so I'm going to try to hold up for that. With the Titania combo, you get Zuran Orb off of Urza Saga, and then you can Titania, sack all your lands, get a 5/3 for each land that you have. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go for that. I think I'm supposed to hold the Traverse as well. Getting that 5th land is nice, but I think we'll be able to find 5th land. Then opponent verdicts, yeah. I was thinking Murktide again. Do you think the mono red Golos deck is still a viable deck in Pioneer? I think it's reasonable. The problem is it's like just not favored against mono green. It's not like an auto loss. You have some game in the matchup, but play draw matters a lot, and I think playing any deck that is like unfavored against mono green is kind of a tough ask at the moment. Okay, I think I'm gonna untap here. If they have Spell Pierce or Consider, I would rather wait here. Okay, there's land number 5. So we'll see if they consider end of turn. If they don't, I'll heat on their upkeep. What are those circles in the upper right hand corner? Is Blood Marauder yeah, I think Bloodbraid Marauder is just not that good, where like you basically never can cast it on turn 2, and then your big payoff is you cascade into Mishra's Bauble. Circles, you're talking about Channel Fireball at NordVPN, or? So we're really hoping our opponent taps out next turn. It does seem like they're leaving up some counter magic, though. Did Mono Green make a bigger problem with Mono Green being so good in banning Iteration and Winota? I don't know. I don't know. I will say this. Like, it doesn't seem like a lot of people are trying to... I think that 1 week into a format is just too early to make any definitive statements about how good or bad the format is. It just takes more time to play and discover the new matchup dynamics. The mono green deck is, I think, better than I had previously evaluated it at. I don't know if it was a combination of me playing a lot of decks that were like better against mono green before, or if it was more like due to the fact that okay, please just play Murktide, or if it was due to the fact that more people are playing it now, or more people have like learned how to pilot the deck, or a combination of these factors. But the mono green deck has been like, or maybe like I've been running bad against it lately too, and it's just too early to say. It's just too early to say. Okay, I think we're gonna win here. But I think it'll be good to spend, today kind of focused on Modern, or at least mostly focused on Modern. And then I have a wedding I'm attending this weekend, so I'm going to be taking the weekend off. And then maybe we can get kind of a fresh slate. And then finally, Pioneer will be the perfect format. Okay, I think that this is going to be good enough. Although I'm kind of worried about them bolting in response to the trigger. Because I'm not sure if... I think that the 6/5/3s is going to be good enough, but I'm not sure that... I'm not sure that just 4 will be... Awesome. Okay, so... They don't have a bolt, or they shouldn't, so I'm just going to crack this now. Elvish Reclaimer just too slow and dirty for this deck's game plan. Yeah, so like I was playing Elvish Reclaimer in this list for a long time. My opponents hit me with the wow. I love this combo. I was playing Elvish Reclaimer in this deck for a long time. I guess I could have traversed, but I think I'm just all in here. Well, I guess traversing for land next turn is maybe correct. Just get a forest, yeah. Sorry. Elvish Reclaimer, I tried in this list for a long time. It was reasonable, but I think it was like kind of the worst card in the deck. Very slow, very dirtily, easy to play around. And like when you're not playing it, you can you get to play like 6 1-mana removal spells, which is better for Delirium. So I get 5 more 5/3s. I'll have a total of 7. And so even if they produce 3 more blockers / removal spells this turn, they're dead, I think. This has been a combo I've been messing around with since like the release of MH2. And I do like it in this deck specifically, where you just have to play 1 Zuran Orb, 1 Titania, and you can traverse you can tutor up the pieces pretty easy. It gives you oops I win button in some matchups, some games. It's also kind of, I always forget to do it, but you can actually, in response to Urza Saga Chapter 3, sack for 2 life. They can also charm. That's true. I think 1 charm is still not enough though, right? Charm, steal, block. They take 20. Block. So they take 17 if they have charm, but if they have charm plus lightning bolt, they survive. So maybe I was supposed to traverse for land last turn. You can't sack Saga. Sorry. Yeah, if you get Saga, if you get Orb already has to be in play to sack the Saga. Okay, Jund deck. Urk, thank you for the 12 months. Happy anniversary. Appreciate you. This looks like, if I'm not mistaken, very close, if not the exact list from the DreamHack event, right? That list was actually built by a friend of mine. It was mostly my cards, too. Okay, no, you're playing a Raging Ravine. I don't think he was playing Ravine. I don't recommend Ravine. I think that I personally really like to play the 1-mana Cycle lands. I think that those cards are really good with Run and Six. I really like the 1-mana Cycle lands over Peatland and Raging Ravine. I typically like to play like 1 Red Barrenmoor and 1 Red Barrenmoor. Okay, I guess if they have Lightning Bolt... Oh, yeah, if they have Lightning Bolt, they have to tap Islet. I guess they don't have to tap the Islet. Okay, they're dead. What a game. What a game. Am I drinking a Monster? I'm drinking a coffee in a can. Alright, so sideboard the same I did last time. Cut the 5 drops, cut the orb, cut the map. Murktide I think is a really good matchup. I beat it last night in my trophy run too. That's just my... I really like the Cycle lands. They make your Wrenn and Six so aggressively, so much better, I think. I think they're better than Peatland and Ravine as like utility, value, anti-flood lands. I also kind of like 4th Spyro over the first Tracker. The first Tracker is fine though. You can also play like 4th Privateer's Charm over the Terminate, because this also kills Murktide. That would probably be something I'd recommend. Sideboard seems pretty fine. I think that you may want to play... just like Weather the Storm over Collective Brutality if you feel like you don't actually bring that card in any matchup besides Burn. And like because I really don't think that there's almost any matchup you bring it in. Like I don't bring it in against Control. Maybe against like something really weird like Blue-Red Gift Storm or Ad Nauseam, but if you're playing that card, it is mostly for the Storm matchup, and Weather the Storm I think is a lot better than Brutality. Elvish Reclaimer is probably a really good deck. I've played a lot of this deck in the past, and I basically have always had 4 Elvish Reclaimers. And after like removing myself a little bit from it and spending some time, I think Reclaimer is the worst card in the deck, where it's like really good on paper, but it's very mana intensive, very easy to play around, and very slow. It's no, Brutality is not good against Control. Like it's 2 mana. It's 2 mana to not even hit any of the relevant cards. Like it misses their Planeswalkers, it misses their Solitudes, it misses their Rest in Pieces. It's like it can hit some relevant cards, but 2 mana discard spell. Like I wouldn't even be that interested in a 2 mana take any card from their hand. But a 2 mana only instant sorcery is so bad. Like, you can bring in Brutality if you have, like dead Fatal Pushes as Jund, but it's, like, really not a good part of your game plan. Have I settled on where you like DRC and Rakdos midrange or not? I think at the time of making this comment, I like the version with Liliana instead, the bigger version, but it's a conversation. Kind of a heavy... land hand, but I do like to have Endurance, and we have DRC Bauble to maybe smooth out the draws a little bit. Damn it. I would have mulliganed. I think knowing a land was on top. Probably channeling this. I think I have to keep just like anything to do next turn though. Run Afoul seems like a color pie back. Second creatures doesn't seem very green. I don't know. Like green has always gotten super efficient removal for against flying creatures. You don't think a 2-mana discard spell lets you discard their lands as well would be good? Probably not, no. Not in Modern. Like, spending 2 mana to not impact the board and just, like, 1-for-1 a card in the hand, I think would be, like, completely unplayable, but... The hypothetical, what if this card was printed game is also, like, not a game I love to play. I was mostly referencing, like, the real 2-mana discard any cards that exist. Any non-land cards. Spinach for the 17 months. Appreciate you. Yeah. Reclaimer's definitely way better than Legacy. I know Fran was a big fan of the, like... oh, they're just Sky Murktide. And they have their own hearse. Okay, well, let's resolve this Endurance, I guess. Spinach, thank you for 17 months. Appreciate you, buddy. That's a good card to know about. Would Hymn to Turok be enough to make Black Mid-Range decks tier 1 in Modern? Hymn to Turok shall be printed into Modern, and Jund Midrange will reign for 1,000 years! It will be a great resurgence of Jund Midrange, being the only deck in the format. Bloodbraid Elf into Hymn to Turok, and you will hear your opponents weep, and their teeth will gnash in the night. Pains and cries, oh please! Unban Deathray Shaman, just ban Hymn to Turok, please! And you will laugh. You'll laugh at them. Rapting with 22 months, appreciate you. Or like something like that, probably. I can't draw too many more lands, I think. Without totally being completely unable to win this game. Okay, I think best case scenario, my opponent blocks a Spirit Token with the Shredder, I get to heat it, then cast Endurance, but I'm probably still toast. I kind of just want to go to game 3. Too flooded. I cast Charlotte's Agent. Trigger Cascade. Flip. Hymn to Turok, targeting you. The next turn, I casted Bloodbraid Elf. Cascade. Hit Charlotte's Agent. Hit Bloodbraid Marauder. Hit Ancestral Visions. My deck building is perfect. Do I bring in I guess a Boseiju to answer hers. I don't think I want to bring in Grudge. Yeah, we have him at home. It's called Whispers of Emrakul. And we like Whispers of Emrakul, okay? Alright, I know they have Salty. I'm just off of it. Let's go game 3. Could bring in Needle and cut my own hearses. That seems really bad, though. Hearse is good. Spike, my local metagame is all Black-Green Hymn to Turok, Jund Hymn to Turok, Red-Black Hymn to Turok, and Salta Hymn to Turok. What could I do to combat this? I don't know, Chatter. You could try main decking for Veil of Summer, but it just isn't gonna help at all. I would recommend playing Pioneer maybe instead. Maxing with 4 months, appreciate you. Do I enjoy building mana bases? I do, yeah, I do. I've written a few articles on the topic for Channel Fireball. Spike, I'm already main decking 4 Wiltleaf Lieges, 4 Veil of Summers, and 4 Loxodon Smiters. What can I do against in this Hymn to Turok metagame? There's nothing you can do. You can't beat him, join him. Jokes aside, I wish Labor Hymn to Turok was good. Me too, yeah, me too. T-Passing with 29 months, appreciate you. Is the reason I only have one Seasoned Pyromancer. It's a Traverse the Ulvenwald target. Get tutor for it. Alright, don't think I can mulligan this. Bit weird hand. Storm count 3. How close, not close is Delirium to being good enough? Close, maybe. I would say somewhat close. It's hard to quantify. But I've played it. It's like, you know, it has its moments. But like, just again, the fact that these Delirium cards that are almost never, like these 2-minute Delirium cards, Marauder and him, that are like never Delirious on turn 2. These are the problem cards. Rick, could you help me out with deck? Yes, you post a link in chat. I can help you out. Mr. Dono? Oh, I did. Okay, Zets. Yeah, Zets also have a deck. Sorry. Zets and Rick. If you post your links in the chat, I can get you. I was probably busy ranting about him to Turok. Also, I think I'm gonna bring the standing desk down. Everybody relax. I've got everything under control. Everything is gonna be just fine. So I got a stick of red, so they probably go Channeler Heat here. Oh no. So I have Delirium myself now. They shocked a second red source into play, which almost definitely means they have a removal spell for my Channeler here. So I think I'm supposed to just pass. Okay, so deck tech for Zets, and then did Rick post your link in the chat? I haven't seen it yet. I'll keep an eye out. Possessed Portaltron. Okay, well, so this is like the Susurrus prison variant of Tron. These lists have always been pretty interesting to me. Ooh, maybe just gonna lose both games 2-3 to Flood. Yeah, but these versions have always been interesting. Hard to like really crack the code on and get like the perfect 75 without playing them. This looks very similar to Susurus's list, and I remember liking it well enough. I remember thinking that like I liked Ugin, 6-mana Ugin a decent amount. I'm kind of surprised to see you playing 0 copies of 6-mana Ugin, but maybe it's just fine not to. Like I could see potentially going down to like one welding jar main deck and then siding in more welding jars. I think that could be fine. Probably getting dressed down, right? No way! Ugh, brutal. Brutal. Do I have to get... I probably have to get Mishra's Bauble, right? Maybe it's better to get Lantern. No, Bauble gives me some selection. Yeah, the cookbook discards for bridge. Yeah, I feel like I would maybe like 6-mana Ugin over 8-mana Ugin too. But I will say, like, for the most part, like, this list I think is pretty well constructed, and I don't think really needs that many changes. Okay, Traverse the Ulvenwald. I do have Delirium. Keep that one. Good card to be on top. Maybe not good enough to win the game, but keep it. Is it crazy to play one Spyglass main, one Needle main because of the chalices? Just one as a 2 to target. Maybe one Urza Saga twice. I think the sideboard looks fine too. Like I don't have any, like, you know, a lot of times I'll see lists like this that are like relatively tuned, generally pretty good, and ones that I don't feel like, you know, need that much change. I don't have too many notes on decks like this. Good list, wouldn't change that much. Okay. I really want to endurance my opponent. I also want to Seasoned Pyromancer. Let me cast the Traverse, see if it resolves. They counter this, I can dash the Ragavan. They may be afraid of like something goofy like a Thron. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna get Seasoned Pyromancer. Cast Ragavan, cast Seasoned Pyromancer. At the very least can get tokens off of this if they don't draw Hearse. Sanchez, with the 9 months. Appreciate you. Okay, so this is Grixis midrange. This looks pretty similar to Canister's challenge winning list. I've also been working on the archetype. I remember it was like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I played a very similar list in the challenge, and it didn't go that well, but it's cool to see, you know, Canister picking it up, tweaking the list a little bit, doing well with it. Trying to see what my list was looking like. This was a little while ago. Maybe I scrolled past it. Been playing a lot of decks, huh? I think it's lower than this. Maybe it's not. Another land. We'll play it out, but feels bad to lose games 2-3 to Mana Flood. Is what it is. Oh, here's the Shadow variant I was playing. So your version is not playing Shadow, which I think is fine. Canister's list is also playing just 3. Yeah, I think that this is a fine way to build a deck. One thing I was thinking, if you wanted to cut the Shadows, I kind of liked the idea of playing 3 Kroxas. I think being able to, like, connive them away and surveil them away pretty aggressively. I thought that might be kind of interesting. I think you really have to play 4 Drown. I think Drown is, like, really key. Like, I would definitely play the 4th Drown over the 2nd Terminate in the main, and then, like, 2 Terminate side for the, Murktide matchups. You also have a 2-2-2 split of Lightning Bolts, Fatal Push, and Unholy Heat. I feel like I usually like to play Lightning Bolts, Unholy Heat in these decks. It is a conversation. I feel like... I meant to Seasoned Pyromancer, although... I'm not sure how much it's going to matter. Maybe to some extent, your 1-mana removal spell suite is sacred, and there's no possible way to criticize or improve. Everybody's got their own 1-mana removal spell suite, and there's no convincing anybody. I also usually like to play the Mountain as a tutor target, but I know a lot of people hate the Mountain, so I think it's fine to cut the Mountain. Jay, after 20 months, appreciate you. Kind of a dirtily do-nothing hand. Let's mulligan. Hand's way better. I'm doing well, Kane. How you doing today? Oh. With no Shadow, I think it's mandatory to play some fast lands. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Although if you're gonna be still actually at 18 lands like this, then like you may just want to actually keep that ratio of fetches and shocks. But yeah, you can play some less fetch lands and play like 2 Blackleaf Cliffs. It's fine. Wolf Game with the 13 months. I've been on stream all week. Come back and spike players for deck. Awesome. Deck weeks have left a big impression. I guess I should get Hearses. Well, I've been playing this style of deck a few times. Post Image 2. Usually playing Reclaimer, but coming back to it. Yeah, I think I'm just happy to trade here. Play second Ragavan. Yeah, I believe that old border Ragavans are only on Magic Online. So I'd imagine the bird matchup's solid, because we're an Urza Saga deck with Shadowspear. Ragavan, you know, trading 1 for 1 twice is pretty nice. Although I guess the Wrenn and Sixes aren't going to be that good. Oh, we also have Zuran Orb in the deck. Oh man, looking at Wrenn and Six Zuran Orb going. Thoughts on Abundant Harvest? Yeah, so I've been thinking about Abundant Harvest. It is a card that I intend to cast more often, but I think that it's a card that you don't really want to play. I don't know. It's interesting. I thought about playing it over like the 5th and 6th 1-mana removal spells. I think I like the removal spells more. I think you could play them over some number of hearses. I think I like the hearses more. But it's a card to think about. I like the new humans list with Pyre of Heroes. I lost to it in the challenge that the top 8 did. That was a cool list. Gonna Searing Blaze me probably. Yeah. Down to 12. And now, okay. I thought they may have both the endurance. It's probably fine to Wrenn and Six and try to get the Endurance Fury hardcast here. It's hopefully just top deck Zuran Orb. Is mono green Eldrazi not viable? I don't know. Like, I remember we had some good runs with it. I like the deck too. I feel like the sad problem with that deck is like just the Eldrazi themselves aren't that good. Hopefully, might put a place Eidolon. Pretty unlikely though. Okay. So like now I'm just gonna start pinging with Wrenn and Six. I think that if I draw a Lightning Bolt, I've got lethal next turn. Obviously, Boros Charm would be pretty bad, putting me down to 6, but I think you kind of obviously have to cast the Fury here. Are there anything to play lands? Yeah, they've cast. I endurance them. They've played like 4 or 5 spells this game. All right, so that removes my Lightning Bolt top deck out. You know, hopefully they don't have Searing Blaze number 2 for the Fury. But if they do end up using a removal spell in the Fury, that's probably going to be okay. I guess they have to have Land plus Searing Blaze. Here they suspend a Rift Bolt. They have 2 cards in their hand. One of them is a Sacred Foundry. If their last card is Searing Blaze, we'll see them cast it. Their last card seems to be not Searing Blaze. We're dead to Boros Charm. Unless we draw exactly Zuran Orb or Shadowspear. I don't think there's any other card. Yeah, they definitely floated pretty bad. Can't imagine that this changes too much. I don't know why, like, what they could possibly be thinking about so hard, to be honest. Just feels like just cast your burn spells, you know. Okay, I like to see just a Swift Spear on top. Big hit. They have a Rift Bolt suspended. Their last card has to be exactly Boros Charm. I can't imagine that if their last card was Boros Charm, they wouldn't just fire it off there. So we know that they're drawing Swift Spear for turn. My opponent doesn't know that though. I'm gonna tilt off the face of the earth if they Boros Charm me here. I guess it'd be fine for them to wait. Tank, Boros Charm. Concedes. Okay. I do think this matchup is probably pretty good. Bring in the Pyrite Spellbomb for Sanctifier and Vac. Hearse is probably pretty slow. I don't like that it doesn't block very well. Kind of interested in cutting the 4th Wrenn and Six to cutting the Soul Guide Lantern, although I may not have enough cards to bring in. Yeah, I kind of don't. I think I just played the Lantern. Don't think I went. I think the Hearses are probably pretty bad in this matchup. Boseiju for Eidolon? We already have one Boseiju. I'm not sure how good it, like on turn 2 Boseiju Eidolon, I'm not sure how good that is either. It is cool that you don't take damage. We'd also like maybe like Wrenn and Six Boseiju them off white mana. How reliable is this deck of Delirium? It is 5 reliable. 5 reliable. Okay, let's keep this ham. Put up Moles to 6. Another Mishra's Bauble. Yeah, I think I'll draw a Boseiju. When do you sideboard out lands for Boseijus? You basically never sideboard lands out for Boseijus, because when you're boarding these cards in against like Titantron, Belcher, Hammer Time, Affinity, decks that you want to channel them. So when you board them in, you mostly are treating these as spells. Okay, so let the Goblin Guide trigger happen. I think the 2-drop that cascades with Delirium, I think the card's pretty bad. It's been brought up a lot. Again, like you need your cascade cards that are 2 mana to like reliably have cascade on turn 2. Or delirium cards. You know, this card needs to be good on turn 2 for it to be good, I think, and it's like basically never on turn 2. So next turn I could traverse for a Saga, which could find me my Zuran Orb. It's kind of slow. Okay, there's an Eidolon. So I can obviously Boseiju the Eidolon, but then if I Boseiju Eidolon, I don't get to Urza Saga this turn. It's gonna be a little bit slower. Maybe that's fine. I'm at 14, they've got 2 cards. I think that's fine. Yeah, they get a land, but I think at this point, like, lands don't matter as much. What about Loam and the deck with Assault? That's just a completely different deck. Like, you know, that deck also exists. You can play it. It's a bit different. Like, you know, at that point, you're just playing, you know, Loam over the Traverse package. Loam and Assault over Traverse package. And Saga. Should they be bolting Ragavan? Yeah, they basically always have to kill the Ragavan. That's one really tough thing for Burn in this matchup is like Ragavan, like being able to hit Helix and cards like that is like makes it kind of an auto kill, and it's not great for them. Okay, playing this so I can try to get my Zuran Orb. Zuran Orb plus Run and Six seems hard for them to beat. Watch a bunch of Esper Food content lately. I'm curious about the selection of Ending over Portable Hole. Hole seems to have the upside of still hitting Needle and is sackable to time sieve, replay with Emery. Yeah, that's an interesting decision point. Like one kind of awkward thing about Portable Hole is that it's removable with like the artifact destruction that your opponents are going to be bringing in a lot of the time. That being said, it is kind of an interesting conversation. Prismatic Ending also hits like Teferi Time Raveler. Okay. Can't suspend from Exile, so just let this go. But maybe Teferi is the only like super important thing. Can also hit Blood Moon, which is kind of nice. It's an interesting conversation. Okay, so here I think I want to go make a Saga token, block, and then when they go to cast a spell, bolt the Shadowspear. Okay. So they're not gonna attack, so that's good news for me. I am gonna get the Zuran Orb over the Shadowspear. It's a bit better against Deflecting Palm, Smash the Smithereens, removal spells in general. It's also cooler. Does this deck beat big mana control? It definitely beats control. Against big mana, you're playing as Boseiju, Wrenn and Six. The current build, I think, is better against Tron than Titan, but you have game against both. What if this was black-green base and red splash? People do this a lot, right? They'll go like, Spike, what if this deck was different color combination? But they don't go, Spike, these are the cards I want to be different color combination for. I can keep this. I think I'm supposed to hold up Heat on turn 1, since I can go Saga, play Lantern on turn 2, and then still have to Heat up the whole time. How many deck lists do I have in my account? I don't know. I'm in here every day, hours a day, going through them. I delete. I don't just like keep every deck list. I only keep the ones I think that are like still providing like information and value to me. It may not look like it, but I do like make an effort to delete deck lists I think are like not like useful anymore. I guess I should play this first. No, then if they fetch, then I get to exile a card from the yard. But if they had just like Steam Vents up, then I should have played this first. No, if they no, never mind. There's never a situation where they make me exile the Ragavan with my Lantern. Okay, deck tech for Guacamole. Hawk for the 22 months, appreciate ya. 4-color Kiki Chord. A deck that's definitely near and dear to my heart too. It's been a little while since I've worked on it. So, I see that you're playing Teferi Time Raveler. I feel like I usually just like to be very in on the creature synergies in my versions. Not that it's crazy to play the Teferi. Teferi's a really good card. Has some synergy in the deck too. What? The Ragavan is connecting against I think it's just Mardu colors here. I'm gonna, I think, not cast the Bolt so I can make a token and have the Treasure Stone play to grow the Saga tokens. Okay, so one card that I see you're missing that I really like is Imperial Recruiter. Like, I think one Recruiter as a way to be able to tutor up Feldar Guardian into Kiki Jiki is pretty nice. It's also really, like, very good with Ephemerates. I also see you're playing no Soul Herders. The first Soul Herder is, like, definitely good. Am I just not seeing it? Yeah, I think you're really gonna want the first Soul Herder. I also like, yeah, I mean, you can see how I've built the list in the past. Like, I usually like don't play Teferi, so I can play more 2-mana cantrip creatures, Soul Herder, Recruiter, Feldar Guardian. You also have a backdoor combo here with Feldar Guardian, Glasspool Mimic, where you can even play this as a land, and then this is infinite ETBs, which is infinite life with Ariok Champion, and infinite power on Soul Herder. And then obviously Guardian combos with Kiki Jiki as well, and it's a recruitable Kiki Jiki target. So that's usually how I like to build the deck. This is a lot of Restoration Angels too. I feel like I would play like 2 more walls before I played this many Restoration Angels. Well, it seems like this is definitely going to be a case of I have a lot of Graveyard Hate main deck against the Graveyard deck. I think I'm not sacking anything here. But it's like Grixis Creativity. Yeah, maybe. This could also be like Reanimator variant. Yeah, I guess the Prismari command may be more likely to be Creativity. So maybe I'm not supposed to hurt. No, hers keeps my constructs the same size. Should be fine. Again, this is just like a lot of loose thoughts. It's you know, for a deck that is, you know, 80 cards, playing millions of tutor targets, there's a lot of personal preference. It's hard to, you know, hard to tell you the perfect version, but, you know, I've spent a lot of time on the archetype. Your list is not very different from what I usually like to play, but I usually like to make sure that I have a higher density of 2-mana cantrip creatures, Soul Herder, and Soul Herder and Feldar Guardian, Imperial Recruiter are things I like. But, you know, a lot of this comes down to personal preference, play style, boring stuff like that. I would probably only play 1 Boseiju too, by the way. Like, you don't have any way to recur them. You're in a 4-color deck. I would just play 1. Okay, we're up a game is Creativity. I kind of wish I had seen what creatures they're getting, but it's probably Archon of Cruelty, and even if it's Emrakul or Sarah's whatever, like, I think Run Afoul kills everything. Unless, I don't think they're playing Titan. Basically, like, no way. We also saw only Grixis lands, so, like, they're probably not playing Teferi Wrenn and Six. We could also be wrong about that. I think I want to cut the shot. They also may be playing Persist in their version 2. So I think that's somewhat likely. So I kind of like bringing in the Run Afouls and the Endurances, and then probably want to cut the Fury also. I always want to Charmaw people. I could play 1 Bolt, could play... Second Boseiju is probably not that good. See if I have any more thoughts here. Sunbird looks pretty good. Just like kind of your generic tutor targets. You probably want at least one Forge Tinder to tutor for against the Fury decks, but it's kind of a small thing. I really dislike how this hand has no pressure. I guess we can Expedition map for Saga, which is very slow. But we do have a lot of reactive hate, and if my hunch is correct that they're playing Persist, like this hand could be good against a reanimated draw. Shadowspear over Bolt. I feel like how often does like the Shadowspear racing matter? I feel like almost never. Okay, this draw like massively improves this hand. Like I'm very happy with this being the top card. Yeah, I would love to run afoul in Emrakul. That would be awesome. If they do have Emrakul on the board, there is like a non-zero chance, and maybe this is just wishful thinking, but there is a chance, right, that they like boarded an Emrakul thinking I can never answer it. I think we graveyard that for Delirium, and then I think we'll cast the Lantern. It's close. Another Channeler is okay. Next turn I could go like second Channeler, Traverse for a Forest, play Forest, hold up Run Afoul, have Delirium, probably. I guess Delirium if I sack the Lantern for a card, which I might do. I played about 6 leagues after a few leagues I tried Force Share to enable Asthma better. I think it's worth losing Giganta. Well, what did you cut for the Street Wraiths? I kind of feel like just Shredder and Cookbook are enough to enable Asmo, but what did you cut? Spike, why not playing full Bolts and Heats? I feel like 6 1-mana removal spells is kind of the number I'm more happy with, but you were free to tell me what you cut to play the full 4. Drum, Shadowspear, move to board, a land, and a Shredder. Yeah, that seems like so reasonable. But I personally, Street Wraith is also like it makes your opening hands way worse. Where like a lot of times you have like 2 Street Wraiths and you have no idea if your hand is good or not. It makes you like worse against Burn. Although Burn's already one of your best matchups, so that's maybe fine. I like having the, I guess like cutting the 4th Shredder is actually madness. Sorry, that's cutting the 4th Shredder is just lunacy. But you also like don't need to play the full 4 Street Wraith if you think it's necessary. Like you can play like 2, you know. You can cut like the Springleaf Drum and the Street Wraiths. Although your White Splash gets way worse without Springleaf Drum. It's all, you know, stack of cards. Okay, so they are playing Archon. They missed their 3rd land. So they shocked in a Steam Vents. I feel like maybe they have Prismari Command. Need to get some more pressure on them. Why not Endurance on our turn? Why Endurance on our turn because of Remand? The reason to not do it is so that my opponent may play into it. If they have Persist on Archon, it's great. We get to Endurance in response to Persist. I think that the upside there is way better than playing around a Remand. Do you consider Gearhulk on a blue-black control shell and Pioneer? You can consider it, I guess. I think that blue-black control is an interesting deck in Pioneer where it feels like there's a lot of good options and like there just like isn't a good shell. Although the more I think about it, I think that people overrate Fatal Push in Pioneer a little bit, where it's just Revolt is like so hard to get if you're not playing like specifically Rakdos Sack. Like most decks just aren't that good at enabling Revolt. Do you ever cast Run Afoul just to surveil one with hero 2 copies? I'll probably do it to not discard it to Archon here. Unless I like my top card. Okay, we'll select the Endurance. They'll select their Archon. They've got 3 cards left. Waffles and some blue-black control does well. Yeah, I think kind of the secret to playing blue-black is probably playing like a lot of power word kills, a lot of like 2-mana removal spells, or like at least leaning into those heavier than you would in a different format. Okay, so hopefully they have Persist and not Creativity. Okay. Hopefully no remand. I think like main phasing the Endurance was fine to try to get them to play in, or not main phasing, it's fine to try to get them to play into this. If they have remand, they may even like cited it out against our deck too. That may have been reasonable. Instead of Heat, I've been liking Shrapnel Blast. I don't think we have enough artifacts for Shrapnel Blast in this deck. You have to like really support that card. Drown is also possible. Yeah, how often do these Grixis Creativity decks play Drown? Probably not that often, right? Somewhat often, maybe. Notably, I've already used my Soul Guide Lantern, although I guess they don't have any graveyard at the moment anyways. My opponent Cling to Dust with the Persist still on the stack, exiling my Traverse the Ulvenwald, still have Delirium. Tracker with Shrapnel Blast? That is kind of cool, yeah. Yeah, maybe we should be playing a Tracker over Seasoned Pyromancer. Is that better? I'm 1 mana short of Titania comboing my opponent here. So I think I'm just going to Seasoned Pyromancer. Notably, Seasoned Pyromancer better than Tracker here. Tracker's also like really good with Saga. Oh, I guess I should have bobbled myself first. It's interesting. It's an interesting thought. Tracker over Spyro. Spyro seems better for the ability to tutor as a one-of. The ability to get it as 3 mana draw 2 feels better than Tracker. I mean, Tracker just has so much synergy with Saga and Wrenn and Six, though. Yeah, but we could maybe cut second main deck Endurance for this is bad. Could maybe cut second main deck Endurance. So I guess we have to sack the Channeler because I don't have to attack into the Archon. Although maybe it's not going to matter anyways because maybe I'm... I guess I can block. Oh, wow, I drew Heat off for the turn. That's kind of ridiculous. So then I can traverse for Ragavan for lethal. So I can traverse for Ragavan for lethal, or I can traverse for Endurance to play around Persist and push, but I think just getting the Ragavan makes way more sense. Okay. So now I can't dash Ragavan. Good play, opponent. So I can get Titania in hand, but if my opponent gets an Archon back, I just have to discard it. I'm attacking my opponent for 5, put them another 2. Have I played a land this turn? Yeah, I either get Channeler or Ragavan or Saga, I think. Yeah, I think we just put DRC into play. Yeah, we need Goblin Guide. Good Spell Pierce opponent. So they go up to 5. I think I'm sacking here and hoping to draw Ragavan, or I guess this stops me from drawing Ragavan. But I may be I may be on the Zuran Orb to be able to survive the Archon plan and then get back Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. It's probably not probably not good enough. Maybe I see heat on top of this. Endurance, okay. So endurance, I could double block here. No, it doesn't work because I have to sack something. Yeah, I think I just graveyard to look for heat on top. No heat on top, so we Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. Attack with both, and then probably can't kill our opponent on the backswing. Channeler's dead. I know Channeler's dead. Yeah, no, this isn't enough. Okay, we'll go game 3. Tough stuff. Any changes for game 3? Maybe the Shadowspear is good. Maybe I actually just want more bolts to be able to kill like creatures in response to creativity. The tiny Zuran Orb does seem fine. I think I'm gonna cut the Seasoned Pyromancer and 4th Run and 6. Maybe Charmaw to grind and cut off mana. I mean, Charmaw's always 5 mana in this matchup. It's just way too slow. Charmaw's just one of those hero cards, though, that like people always want to bring in. You know what I mean? Go matchup 2, bring in all 4 Boseijus. Tron, Titan, Belcher, Hammer Time, Affinity, Oops All Spells. 4 colors seems tough. Yep. Prodigy, thank you for the 17 months. Appreciate ya. Yeah, welcome to Modern. You got a mid-range deck, you're gonna have a bad 4-color matchup. Bit wondering about Hearse being not suitable versus Skews, for example. Well, the Hearse is so much better than Scavenging Ooze is the thing, and then Hearse also like helps enable Delirium being an artifact, and Ooze also is like just too weak for Modern. And you can tutor Endurance as Graveyard Hate with Traverse too. Spike, your mid-range deck seems bad against the deck that beats mid-range decks. What do you cut for the Boseijus in the matchups? It's good. Cards that are bad in the matchup. That would be $5 a month for the rest of your life. Like usually, like some amount of your removal spells, Wrenn and Sixes, Endurances, or like the bad cards in those matchups. Hearse sometimes. Just get a Triumph, opponent, get a Triumph. Oh. No Triumph. So I think we're gonna have a dead Ragavan on our hands. So we'll just play a Hearse this turn. Dude, Striker Rich is so bad. I've always like really thought this card is the worst. Okay. Guess getting back Sokenzan could be okay. A lot of creatures to sack. Yeah, Striker Rich may be like appropriate power level for Pioneer. Okay, they found a second land. Yeah, another thing too, like people also always get way too lost in the sauce. I'm guilty too, but just get way too lost in the sauce with tutor target decks, right? Where people are like, oh, Spike, we could play, oh, dude, they have Prismari command? It's unreal. I mean, I think it is the tendency of Magic players to, like, overplay tutor targets in decks, when in this deck, we have, like, plenty of tutor targets. We have, we have something for, like, every situation already, without needing to add, like, underpowered cards like Scavenging Ooze. Go, Sokenzan, go! Hopefully my opponent continues to miss some land drops here. We can also beat like an Archon or two because we have creatures to sack. We have answers to it in hand. Discards an Archon and finds another land. Okay, so I can get Delirium if I Lightning Bolt them. It seems good to get Endurance here. I think decks are mostly better when you play less silver bullets. Like your tutors are mostly getting good cards anyways. Yeah, exactly. Like the more silver bullets you play, the more diminishing returns you have. In this deck, your main tutor targets are Boseiju, Forgotten Cave, Endurance, Fury, Seasoned Pyromancer. Although I think that should be a tracker. Then you can obviously grab a Ragavan or a Channeler when you need one. You can grab a different land when you need one. You just don't like to power up your traverses. You don't need to play like Scavenging Ooze and Clothis, and I've definitely fell into the same trap in the past, which is why I know this. Yeah, definitely just want to keep the pressure on, play the Endurance. Yeah, collect Oof. No! I clicked here, right? I must have missed their icon. That feels so bad. I'm gonna be Aspiring Spikester with that one brutal misclick. If I kill this, though, I'm hitting them for... I put them down to 1. Then I beat Persist on Archon because I can discard the non-Run Afoul card. I also stopped them from fetching and going into fetch creativity. I definitely clicked up here. I must have just missed the icon. Could have been a lag, too. Bob wants to see we should be holding a mana. I mean, what do we hold up mana for? Because we can just discard whatever we draw and then Run Afoul next turn. Like, I don't see any reason that we would need to ever hold up mana here. So obviously, like, this Persists, like, shouldn't be castable here. It feels bad. That being said, we're beating this Archon. Okay, we got there. 3-1, beating Murktide, losing to Murktide, beating Burn, beating Creativity. Decent spread. 5-0'd my 1 practice league with this list last night, so 8-1 with the 75 at the moment. Playing against Giganta the Wellspring. I'm going to keep this hand. Hopefully the Fury's good. Opponent's on a Mold of 6. Murktide again? No, not Murktide because they're playing Giganta. So Giganta, Mishra's Bauble, Scalding Tarn. Obviously, probably some kind of brew. I'm trying to think if there's any. I guess it could be Blue-Red Prowess with Shredder and Phoenix. Been messing around with that deck a little bit. Do I want to keep Traverse? I think no. Blue-Black Food? It could be Blue-Black Food, I guess. Yeah, with Scalding Tarn. I don't know why the Scalding Tarn is throwing me off, but yeah, you could just play that. No. It's not. It's at least not Dimir Food because you would play Flooded Strand and Marsh Flats. Yeah, so Shadow. Yeah, Shadow's just the most likely. Man, Giganta it's so easy to get so like, stun locked against a Giganta. Okay, happy with that Spell Pierce. Kind of weird that they chose not to Spell Pierce the first Bauble, but they were like down to Spell Pierce that one. Whatever. Nice Wrenn and Six, or nice Ragavan. You know, Wrenn and Six is maybe the hero of Modern because it kills Ragavan with the -1. Something to think about. Sokenzan Wrenn and Six also seems like cracked in this matchup. Okay. 2 for 1. Don't have Delirium yet. Missing a type. You can actually, let's wind that back. You can draw Crocus for turn. Dude, I Ragavan them into a land. I'm so generous. Seems like we got some good options here. Hardcast Fury, probably the best option. We're drawing a Soul Guide Lantern. I can also just make a Saga token, play Sokenzan, cast Ragavan. A lot of people have been cutting the dress downs for the main, so I think I'm gonna go for that line. If Ragavan's a 2-mana 3/2, be less playable. Yeah. we've been playing a lot of the hypothetical game today. Just want Silver Bullets, could play a stage. Dude, Thespian Stage Urza Saga is something that sounds like okay in theory, but it is so slow, so mana intensive, and so easy to play around. It's just like, it's just not it, I promise you. I've tried a few different shells that play the Thespian Stage for Saga. It is just not a good plan. Although I do remember like a lot of people like dooming and glooming about Thespian Stage, the Thespian Stage Saga interaction at the beginning of Image 2. Get the Shadowspear here, I think. For those who don't know, if you Thespian Stage an Urza Saga on Chapter 2, I think, you can just make a token every turn. But it just ain't it. It's just so slow. You know, it's kind of a classic situation of, like, not playing mediocre cards to make your good cards better than they already are. This is, like, a really common deck building suggestion to, like, you know, Master of Waves, Wizard Reef, Master of Waves, Mystic Reflection, Urza Saga Hex Parasite. It's like a very common thing to want to play, like, mediocre cards to power up your premium cards, but that's usually almost, like, always incorrect deck building in my experience. Isn't one of stage relatively free? No, it's like a 5th colorless land in your red-green deck. Like we have, like the 4 colorless lands are already like taxing on this mana base, but having an extra colorless land in your deck with 1,000,000 1-mana colored spells and Wrenn and Six is not free. It's also like very slow, very easy to play around, and like I also like generally think ever going more in on Saga is not a good play, since everybody you've ever met in your entire life has come to this modern tournament ready to beat an Urza Saga. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like possible to go to a modern tournament and your opponent's like, oh no, I forgot to prepare for Urza Saga today. I guess I'm gonna lose. You know what I mean? Like, that just doesn't happen. Can you tell us an exception? I'm sure there are some exceptions, but usually the exceptions are like the cards are not actually that mediocre. The cards are actually like reasonable to play. You know what I mean? Like, these Sagas are about to get a lot worse because they're going to bring in dress downs. I'm even slide out a Saga. I mostly want map to like get Boseiju in some matchups. I feel like I'm even cut the map here. Cut the map and... I guess Titania's Zuran Orb is kind of good against them. I kept it in last night in this matchup. I'm a little unsure. I'll play the Fury too on the draw, and then I'll cut the 4th Saga. Yeah, I guess Zuran Orb Titania. I mean, this is a bit different, right? This is a bit different, where Titania is not a card that is like just cracked by itself in this deck. It's maybe okay. It's maybe okay as a 5-mana spell, but this is like an actual combo rather than this being a mediocre card powering up this card. You know, like Deceiver Exarch and Splinter Twin on their own are both like bad cards, but together they win you the game just like this. That's a bit different than playing Thespian Stage to power up Urza Saga. Does it make sense? What's the worst card that's commonly played in Modern? Lightning Bolt. I like a little bit of Kappa there, but it is true, like, people for the longest time have been... I get this comment like maybe like once a month, so not that often, but like once a month someone will say, Spike, Lightning Bolt has actually been the most commonly played card in Modern for 1,000 years. Why don't we ban it? It's the most commonly played card. But like Lightning Bolt is not a top 10 Modern card right now. It's like probably not a top 20 Modern card. I don't know exactly where it falls, but Lightning Bolt is like not one. It is the most overrated card in Modern. It's fine. It's playable. We have it in this deck, but it is like it is just, you know, really fallen from grace. Okay, opponent's Bolt to 5 on the play here. Lead on the Ragavan, I think. Yeah, it is good. It's a playable card. But people like if you ask a random Modern player, if you go to FNM and you do a survey and you ask what's the best card in Modern, I bet 20% of them will tell you Lightning Bolt, and that's just not true. Lightning Bolt is not a top 20 card in Modern. Yeah, it's still totally playable. Good red removal spell. But like there's now a better red removal spell in the format. Okay, imagine they're taking the Wrenn, unless maybe they get Delirium here. So about to get Delirium. Guess we can get Delirium and instant speed here by cracking the Lantern too. So if they get Delirium on their turn, it's probably worth it to pop the Lantern in the block. Are the people who say Thoughtseize equally wrong? Yeah, Thoughtseize. Saying Thoughtseize is the best card in Modern is like laughably wrong. I don't know. It's fine. It's okay. It's also okay to be wrong, by the way. But like, best cards in Modern are like Ragavan, Rrenn and Six, Omnath, Violent Outburst, Expressive Iteration, Counterspell, Teferi Time Raveler, Primeval Titan, Colossus Hammer, Yawgmoth. Maybe not Yawgmoth. Urza Saga. Yeah, the fetch lands too. The fetch lands are also like always the quiet secret best answer. So if the last card's a 1-mana removal spell, get a little bit blown out here. Yeah, Rrenn and Six is a pretty good choice. Colossus Hammer over Yawg, I don't know. Again, you get really semantic-y, like, and everybody's got a different opinion. Violent Outburst might be my pick, to be honest, for like secret best card in Modern. Or like best spell. Like that would definitely pick fetch lands over everything. Okay, I guess I'm looking for Endurance. Oh man, Magic is an easy game, dude. I think I'll try to block the Ragavan, not play around top deck Drown. Oh wait, who did I bauble? I baubled them. They were drawing the bauble. That's right. Stupid Z crackling. Welcome up to tweet some of the top cards. Yeah, that's true. Although I think that they feel like a tier below like the top threats of the format. Especially because they're all like, all of the evoke elementals are like specifically very good in like a handful of matchups, and then like besides maybe Grief is maybe better in a wider range. They're good for sure. Although I would say everyone's pet deck has at least one evoke incarnation that is good against them. Avatar Tenacious Underdog. Okay, so 4 Wonder first league of the day. I 5-0.